John Machota, Dallas Morning News. Matt, is there any coincidence that your Green Bay Packers came to this area not too long ago to Dallas, won the Super Bowl? Did you think about that at all coming into this race, and did you get a chance to actually go to the game?
I did not go to the game. My wife told me I could go to the game, and she was mad at me that I didn't go because she said someday I'm going to give her a hard time about it. But I did not go. She was pregnant. She was due about 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, and I figured the last thing I needed to do was land in Dallas and her call me and tell me she was on the way to the hospital by herself, and I had to go to Daytona the next week and all that. So I figured I would stay home and watch it on TV. But we had a great time. Had some friends over, and to have the Packers win the Super Bowl was huge. You know, '96 was the last time they went, and I didn't have enough money in '96 to get a ticket or to fly to a race or do any of that kind of stuff, or fly to the game or do any of that stuff. And I always said if they ever win again, once I made enough money where I could do that, I was going to go. So I'm hoping they can go back again. You know, last time they went 2 years in a row. So hopefully they can play football this year, and then hopefully they can make it back.
Mike
HembrySpeed.com. Congratulations, Matt.
Thanks.
Less than a minute after the race ended, Ross put on Twitter, I guess the old man can still get up on the wheel.
You can do it tomorrow now.
Yeah, it's his turn tomorrow.
First, how old is Matt now?
How old is Ross?
Ross, I'm
17.
Sorry. Ross,
Yeah.
Okay. Even in most of your victories, when you've had really good cars, tonight's win was very un-Kenseth-like in that you led so many laps, just thoroughly dominated the race. Was the car just so good that you could not run anywhere but first most of the night?
Well, the car was really good, but starting there made a big difference. You know, if we would have started, 20th or 24th, where we used to qualify all the time, we wouldn't have led all them laps. Obviously, it would have took us, a lot longer to get to the front. Hopefully, we still would have got to the front. So that was a big advantage. Qualifying is really important, with these cars, and Jimmy has really turned me into a better qualifier more times than not. We've definitely been doing better the last 6 months than what I used to do. Our starting position keeps improving, which is really important these days. So that's part of it. We've had a couple like this, but not a lot. Vegas is the one that comes to mind, and that was a long time ago. That was, I think, 03, where we just felt like we were about a straightaway ahead all night, and the car was just about perfect. But yeah, you don't get a lot of days in today's competition level where you can lead that many laps and kind of dominate a race and get the win.
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. 2 questions. First, for Jimmy, you had been kind of behind the scenes with Roush until you hooked up with Matt. And did you ever think you'd get back to this point at this level? I mean, did you want to get back to the crew chief game at the Cup level? Did you ever think you'd experience this again?
Well, yeah, I'm glad I'm back here, and I'm glad I'm with Matt Kenseth driving a race car because it makes my job easy, But whatever Jack wants me to do, that's what I'll do. But I'm really enjoying working with Matt, and hopefully we win some more races.
And Jack, can you speak to the work Jimmy did behind the scenes before you put him and Matt together this most recent time, and sort of how that contributed to the organization?
Jimmy is he's a consummate stock car racer. He can run your R&D team. He can take your rookie driver. Heck, he even won a championship with Kurt Busch. He can do anything, and that was the biggest job I've ever seen done. In terms of a driver, crew chief, managing a program to get the most out of it. Kurt was just a rookie at the time, but Kurt is. Jimmy has done it all. Jimmy's only worked for 3 people. He worked for Mark Martin early on, worked for Bobby Allison, and he worked for Roush Fenway. And Jimmy is one of the guys that I look to give me advice behind and around and above the engineers on what's right and what's wrong with about our deal. Nobody did a better job running our R&D program than Jimmy. And when we went through a number of crew chiefs trying to find a combination that would be best for Matt through kind of the dark days when it seemed like we couldn't get it right. Jimmy was burrowed in the R&D thing. He was having a great time. He was taking his race team without fans and without TV and without the sanctioning body, and he was going out and he was running his program to find out how to make his race car fast. And you don't have that. You don't have the freedoms at the racetrack that you have in R&D when you can organize your tests and all your components. But Jimmy stepped back up and jumped in front, and he's doing a better job than I think anybody could today with Matt.
Mark Garrow, PRN. This is for Jimmy. We talked in the garage this afternoon, and you said, we're close. We're close. At what point did you figure that not only were you closer than you thought, but you had everybody covered?
Lap 334, I believe it was. No, it's all night we worked on the car. The car still wasn't perfect at the end of the night, but it was close. We gained a little bit on it, but like I say, it still wasn't perfect. There's still room to get it better yet.
Matt, and for you, you talked about the last time you felt like this was Las Vegas. Just can you tell the John Q race fans what it's like to have a race car? If you want to go low, you go low. You want to go high, you go high, and it's just fast wherever you go.
Well, it was probably a little harder than it looked at times. It was a big advantage to be out front tonight, and the few restarts we did have, I didn't do the best job. I got somebody in front of me every single time, and it took a little while to get that back. But certainly once I could make that move and I got in some clean air and I could put the car kind of where I wanted to, I had to adjust my line a lot when the car would change during the run. And like Jimmy said, we never had it perfect, but it had such good speed, and we knew if we kept it up front, it was going to be hard for anybody to beat us the way it was. So we didn't want to mess with it too much.
I believe we have another question in the press box.
We have two, actually.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News. This one's for Jimmy. TV was saying that you were having trouble getting a full load of fuel in the car. Is that the case? And I recall that Biffle had similar issues earlier in the season. Is it a hardware problem, and what's being done to address that?
No, that wasn't a hardware problem. It was just it was me on top of the box wanting Matt to go, so I didn't want to spend too much time in there. So I was yelling, "Let's go, let's go!" And it was kind of my fault. We had him drop the jack, and with the new system, we didn't have it quite full. We were probably a gallon short. So.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. For Matt or Jimmy, I think Matt, after the race, you said something to the effect of when you guys pitted, it forced the rest of the field to pit. Could you kind of address that? Did you just kind of control the tempo once you guys were in the lead, even though you didn't have the best mileage, that they were going to have to come when you guys come because of the tire wear and how fast your car was?
You want it, Jimmy?
No, you got it.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, I mean, a track like this, I don't know how much faster we'd run on new tires, probably second when we pit, something like that. So, I mean, if you're running a second lap faster, and the leader pits, he's already a leader, and he's out there running a second lap faster than you are, even if you have eight or 10 more laps of gas in your tank, you can't wait very long and hope for a caution. You need to pit because you're getting a second farther behind every lap. So those kind of races are fun when you're the leader and you're the first one on pit road, as long as there's not a caution, because you know that every lap they stay out there, you're eating their lunch pretty bad. And even if they pit a lap after you, you usually make almost a whole second on them. I know Clint wasn't that far behind us that one green flag cycle, and when it got over, we had half a straightaway on him or something.
No more questions in the press box. Thank you.
Any more questions for down the deadline room? Bob.
You got a lot of earphones going on.
Bob Hocker, St. Daily for Jimmy. Can you talk about the new construction of the tires that's they've had for some of the races this year and adapting to that?
Well, I mean, Goodyear's coming out with different tires every racetrack, trying to, I would say, put more grip in the car for the drivers, so we get some better racing. And we didn't have no problem tonight with tires. Tires look good. Goodyear did a good job here. I don't know. They're just searching to make sure they can get some better racing going. So Goodyear's doing a good job.
Has it been easy for you to adapt to it?
It's been okay. It's just same as everybody else has got, same problems. If there's a problem, everybody else got the problem.
Any other questions? Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys.